Hey, what's going on, everyone? Happy Monday evening. Just got a lot of work done, and I was getting relaxed for the evening. To get done with my nightly routine, and I realized, I promised you guys I'd live stream. I promised you guys I'd live stream. It's the last day of Cyber Monday, and so I figured I'd live stream. And well, I told you I would live stream, and I got done with my nightly routine. Just got out of the shower, got all relaxed, and got the kids to bed. And all of a sudden, I thought, "Oh shoot! I told you guys I was going to live stream." So this is me keeping my promise. Hope you guys are having a great time. And yes, Nate, I am live. Yes, I am live. So I wanted to jump on here so we could talk about some varieties of heirlooms. Just in the words of Michael Scott, if you guys watch The Office, I'm a huge Office fan. These varieties don't get no love. They just don't get no love. They do not get enough love. And so I absolutely love some of these varieties we're going to talk about. And I'm really excited about it. What's really awesome too is I thought, as I was kind of brainstorming what I wanted to talk about this evening, I thought we could hang out, talk about these really amazing varieties, but then also it would pair really well with the very last day of Cyber Monday. So if you guys don't know, I'm not going to pitch this the whole live stream. There's no need to. You guys definitely, most of you probably already know about it. But if you don't, we have a Cyber Monday sale going on at migardner.com. Now, this is the biggest sale we've ever ran because it actually combines both Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and Cyber Monday. And so if you guys are interested in anything that we're talking about or whatever, now would be the time to get it because it will not be on sale for the foreseeable future. I don't know when we're going to run another sale. We don't run very many sales. This is just one of those instances where we really want to kind of get people excited and get people kind of pumped about spring. So if you're interested in saving 20% on any seed that we talk about, you can actually save 20% by using the code MERRY20. It's MERRY20. But then also, if you want to get some fertilizer, you can double up the fertilizer. That was our Small Business Saturday deal. And the fertilizer is 25% off using the code BRIGHT25, BRIGHT25. And then finally, if you are a sauerkraut kid like myself and you want to get some merch, whether it be an Emma Gardner t-shirt or Emma Gardner hat or whatever, we have select merch for sale, 30% off using the code JOY30, JOY30. And so you can literally get seeds, fertilizer, and merch and stack the codes up because we made them stackable so you can save an absolute atrocious amount of money. And that's totally fine because we just wanted to have some fun. And I am definitely on the naughty list with The Office because we are completely buried under orders. I will say that. If you place an order tonight, please do not expect your order to ship out tomorrow. It probably will not. We are very, very, very backlogged because of this sale. It was one of our most successful sales. You guys absolutely showed up for it, and I really appreciate that. Obviously, the whole team appreciates the work, obviously. But needless to say, it was a tad bit more successful than I was expecting. But we already thought, all right, we're already knees deep in this. Might as well just continue. So I do not think we're going to do a sale quite this good ever again because there's a fine line between like, okay, that's enough orders, and okay, that's that's like a dangerous amount of orders that it's going to take a long time to get through. We're not quite at the dangerous level, but we're getting pretty darn close. So the people at the office, the whole team was like, all right, Luke, you are off limits when it comes to running sales. So with that being said, like I said, it is MERRY20 if you want to save 20%. We're going to jump on into this, and I want to talk about some varieties that are just not getting enough love. And the real reality is, I'll give you the real reality. The real reality is that with over 750 different varieties, we're barely scratching the surface of all of the heirloom varieties that exist. And one of our duties is to preserve biodiversity and encourage you guys to try new varieties that might get your juices flowing, might get you excited about something you never tried before, might kind of get you thinking outside the box for what the world of heirlooms can really provide your garden, your family, the fun of the garden, right? And we're barely scratching the surface with 750 different varieties. And what we've been doing this for 13 years, and what we found is that there are varieties that we are very excited about that are absolutely amazing and have an amazing backstory, super important to the gardening community, and very beneficial to be growing. But when put up against some more household name varieties, there's nothing against the early jalapeno, right? There's nothing against it. There's nothing against a Danvers 126 carrot. There's nothing against a Blue Lake 274 bean, right? A Blue Lake bush bean. There's nothing against that. I love them. They're fantastic. And there's a reason why they're fantastic. But I think oftentimes we do tend to get hung up on those household name varieties and we become almost kind of brand loyal to them. And one thing that I've always challenged myself to do is to plant about 10% of my garden. Believe it or not, 10%, sometimes even more than that, will always get allocated to a variety that I've never grown before. Because what it forces me to do is we do this a lot with the kids. You probably, if you have kids, you've probably done this. Where, yes, Joyce, you know where I'm going with this. You know where I'm going with this. Um, yeah. So Joyce already got it. So when it comes to eating food, right, your kids are very picky. They like what they like. And sometimes you'll say, would you like to try jambalaya? Would you like to try goulash? They might be a kind of a culturally unique food that they might not have tried before, that they've never tried. But they go, no, I don't like jambalaya. And I asked, well, have you ever had it? No, I just don't like jambalaya. It's like, well, in this house, you're gonna try something. Now, I'm not forcing you guys to try. Not. Let me be really clear. Let me be really clear. I'm not forcing you guys to try anything. But with my kids, it's like you have to have at least 3 bites. You're gonna try this. Then, if you don't like it, we'll try it again later because sometimes you have to try things a few times to know for sure if you don't like it. But like, you're gonna try it. You're not gonna get it from the table without trying it. And what I find is if I know that I'm feeding something that tastes good. I wouldn't feed them something that tastes bad. But when I give them something that I know tastes good, and I say at least try 3 bites, I will find, I'd say like 8 out of every 10 times, they'll say, this is actually pretty darn good. I wouldn't mind having it again. And so I find that oftentimes it actually puts myself in that mindset with my garden where I say, I'm going to dedicate about 10% of my garden to something I've never tried before. And I'm really going to force myself to get out of those boxes of favoritism because there might be something that produces better, that tastes better, that maybe looks better. Who knows? Just right, there are lots of different attributes for why I might like something. And if I've never tried it, I can't say I'm not going to like it. So that's the spiel. I think people just tend to get a little brand loyal to some of their very consistent varieties, and they don't really ever think about some of the varieties that just don't get enough love. So the first one, excuse me, the first one I'm talking about, and I'm going to share my screens and kind of give you guys kind of a look at it. The first one is the Druzhba tomato. I just posted about it on Facebook actually, because we kind of were looking at the click map, and there's nothing wrong with the Druzhba tomato. In fact, it's one of my more favorite tomatoes, and I'll explain why. So the Druzhba tomato, let me see if I can get you guys pulled up here. Check this out. There we go. So the Druzhba tomato is an absolutely incredible tomato. Now it is actually a Hungarian variety. It's a Hungarian variety of tomato, and it was introduced in 1995. Now our description is a little short, obviously. I'd like to maybe add on to some of these descriptions, but the variety was actually introduced to the United States in 1995 by a doctor, and this doctor was of Hungarian descent, and brought this amazing variety over to the US. And it rapidly became one of the most popular varieties for the market gardener. The reason why is it was very crack resistant. It was resistant to powdery, or not powdery mildew, sorry, blossom end rot. It was very resistant to, like I said, cracking, early blight, but it also had a very thin skin, which was kind of its downfall with large commercial growing, is that the very thin skin lended itself to be more of a farmer's market slash home garden variety of tomato. And because it's so incredibly productive, market gardeners would find, and this actually was the variety for market growers for almost 7 years consecutively. And that is kind of what really surprised me, which is that this variety, though it's small, between 4 and 6 ounces, and it does have a thinner skin, the home gardener stands the most to benefit from the Drurisba tomato. And it truly, and I mean truly, is one of the more underappreciated, probably underloved, and lesser known varieties of heirloom tomatoes out there. And it is outstanding. It is actually known as the mini beefsteak for good reason, because if you see here, the tomato is actually quite meaty, very meaty, despite it being a quote unquote slicer tomato. It's actually incredibly meaty. And because of that, it really allows itself to be a very versatile tomato. So give this one a try. I absolutely love it. And I would say it's probably one of my more favorite varieties of tomatoes. So definitely give the Drusba a try. Um, and I know, yes, yeah, the skin is important when you eat them, so they don't squish out as much. But that's why it's an excellent slicing tomato, because if you slice it with a sharp knife or a serrated knife, it shouldn't explode everywhere, right? And that thin skin was really the downfall to commercial growing, because it couldn't withstand um, it just couldn't withstand like a long journey. It would bruise easily or puncture easily, and so it ultimately excels for the home garden, which is awesome. Let's see. All right, what's the next one here? Let's go through. Yes, yeah, Christopher. Yeah, exactly. Christopher's got this right. The inside of that looks delicious. It is delicious. It's absolutely incredible. Um, it's like I said, it's known as the mini beefsteak for good reason. All right. Next one. Oh man. So this is another one. This is another one here. It's known as the porter tomato. Let's check this one out. All right. So the porter tomato, you guys are definitely going to want this one. All right, check this out. So this tomato is absolutely astounding. We grew this one. It's an indeterminate. We grew this one for about 4 years in a row. It has not been replaced. We actually will grow this one in and out in our garden, because it is very drought tolerant. If you're in a dry region, like whether it be Arizona, New Mexico, Southern California, Nevada, um, uh, Florida. Florida has kind of some dry seasons. Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, anything down in kind of that very kind of Gulf Coast southern portion, very arid environments. This variety excels, absolutely excels. I know what you're probably thinking, but Luke, you're growing it in Michigan, and Michigan is not arid whatsoever. Michigan can absolutely, anybody can absolutely have an arid growing season. It doesn't necessarily mean that our seasons are always arid, but I love to throw this one in because, on the off chance that it is a very dry year, this variety has always, and I mean literally always, excelled 10 to 1. Make it 20 to 1. above our other varieties when it comes to just sheer production and overall tolerance to that climate. And this is like probably your fourth or fifth most underappreciated variety of tomato from our overall selection. And it's just because not a lot's very known about it. Not a lot of people talk about it, but the people that know about it, it's one of those things, if you know, you know. And the people that know about porter tomatoes know that it's absolutely sensational. It is also very similar to the drusba. It's going to be a smaller slicing tomato, typically around 4 ounces or so. So you're looking at, you know, smaller slicing tomato. Usually at the largest, I've got it up to about 6, 7 ounces, but it's a smaller size slicing tomato. It is absolutely incredible. Now, this variety, because it's so drought tolerant, this variety it does have a thicker skin. Now, you guys, this is really important. I want to drive this point home here. What makes the porter tomato so productive and why it's so drought tolerant is because of the thick skin. Now, this variety does have thicker skin because of the fact that when you grow a tomato that has thicker skin, it actually will hold in more moisture. The thicker the skin, the more drought resistant it's going to be. And that's actually a built in kind of protection mechanism. And that's why a lot of your paste tomatoes have a thicker skin and they're more drier, right? It's a drought protection mechanism. If you grow a very juicy, very water rich tomato, they're typically more often than not going to have a very thin skin, like the drusba, because of the fact that it is it's very water rich, right? And because of that, they're less drought tolerant. The porter tomato is probably one of the best drought resistant tomatoes that I've personally grown, and it really really excels in hot arid environments. Um, Gail Hooper, how do I get onto your selling site? Our site is available to anyone, anywhere, worldwide, over at migardner.com. So you can check it out, migardner.com. I'll share with you the link here, migardner.com. So just migardner.com. All of our seeds are $2. You're absolutely going to have a heyday on our website. But yeah, it is awesome. So I want to go into another one here. I want to keep rolling. I don't want to just finish with two here. Let's see. Alrighty. Oopsie. Let's see. Sorry. I apologize. I had my list up here and it went away when my phone went to sleep. 1 second, I gotta get my list together. By the way, while I'm getting this pulled up, did you guys have a good Thanksgiving? You guys eat lots of food, spend lots of time with family. Hopefully you got some deals for Christmas. I know Mrs. Emma Gardner's she's been going to town. She's almost done. She said, I want to be done before December because she wants to enjoy the holidays. And I think that's pretty cool. We're a little bit of a procrastination-y. We kind of have a tendency to procrastinate when it comes to Christmas. So at least I do. I'm a little bit bad with that. Alrighty. Okay. So here's another one. Gill's Golden Pippin Squash. This one, it's an acorn squash. And it blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. I'm glad I've seen a lot of people that said they enjoyed their Thanksgiving. That's awesome. And having a good Thanksgiving, I think, is a great way to start off the holiday season. And for those of you that I know that not everyone's going to have a great Thanksgiving. I know that everyone has different backgrounds, and some people Thanksgiving is a hard time for them. Sometimes it's a real rough season. So I apologize and my condolences for those that had a rough Thanksgiving. I don't want to be insensitive to that. And obviously we're appreciative that you're here and having a good time, hopefully, and hopefully things get better for those that didn't have a good Thanksgiving. But for those that did, I'm happy you did. And I'm happy we're all here together and able to kind of geek out about heirloom seeds and hang out. It's always an honor to be able to hang out with you guys. So the Gill's Golden Pippin squash. It is an acorn squash, and it blows my mind when and again, I don't have anything against the table king bush squash, the table queen bush squash. I don't. I love them. In fact, I have them in my garden almost every year. The Gill's Golden Pippin. Let me bring this up here. The Gill's Golden Pippin is absolutely sensational. Let's see, Gill's Golden Pippin. Now, this is by no means a bush squash. I don't want to lead you on by saying it's going to be the most space efficient squash, but it produces, in my personal opinion, a acorn squash that is 3 or 4 times creamier, butterier, richer in flavor than the acorn squash. And what I'm getting at is these heirloom varieties of squash. A lot of times, what makes an heirloom? I'm going to kind of break this down for you guys really simply. What makes an heirloom is that if you have an open pollinated variety, you can take 2 open pollinated varieties and create a hybrid. Okay. Hybrids get a bad rep because they are unstable, right? And they're not genetically modified. There's really nothing wrong with them other than you can't save seeds from them. And they create a system of dependency, and they often lack the biodiversity that heirlooms have, right? They're usually grown for a very specific trait. And in the case of the table king and the table queen bush squash, I absolutely love them. They're amazing. If you want a productive bush variety of squash that tastes awesome, you're going to go with those 2 varieties. But they were grown specifically for their space saving capabilities, their efficiency there, their compactness, I should say. But they're also grown for just the fact that they're a bush variety and not a vining variety. And so oftentimes you get a lot of the traits that come with those bushy varieties. So you get more compact plant, maybe larger fruits, a little easier to harvest and stuff like that. But it lacks flavor. And it doesn't lack flavor as in like that's a bad squash. I would eat it any day of the week. Don't get me wrong. Like, please, if you bought those seeds, don't think to yourself, oh man, Luke's trashing the table king bush squash. It's an amazing variety. It's just, if I have to be honest, the Gill's Golden Pippin squash, I would have that variety if I was given the 2 options on a strictly flavor basis. Strictly flavor basis, I pick the Gill's Golden Pippin 10-1. But and no one tries it. Not no one. Very few people try it because it's just like, ooh, that's weird. That's a quirky one. I'd rather go with something I feel safer with. And that's fine. That's fine. But you're missing out on one of the most flavorful acorn squash that I've ever had. When I saw this being grown by one of our farmers, I told him, I said, can you grow me enough to supply our shop? And he said, well, I'm not sure. He only grows about 4 acres. So he grows 4 acres of different vegetables. And I said, well, I'm going to need a decent amount because I want this to be a big seller. I want this to like really knock the socks off people. And he said, all right, well, I'll dedicate about a 1/4 acre for this specific variety. So he grew a 1/4 acre worth of the Gill's Golden Pippin squash, literally just for us. And and I was so stoked about it. And he's been doing this for us since he started growing for us about, I say about 2-3 years ago. And it's by far one of my more favorite squash varieties. And I'm hoping that at some point it catches on. I think with time it will catch on, but it might just take me being that it may just take me being that person that's like, this variety is amazing for this reason and you got to try it, like shake people a little bit. So Oh, good question. How do you compare it to fairy tale pumpkin or pumpkin in general? So, pumpkin is going to be a little more stringy because it's a pumpkin, and a squash is going to be a lot more creamy. Obviously, the size they're going to be much smaller, but when roasted, the fairy tale pumpkin is phenomenal, and I absolutely love it's the Rouge de Stamps or something like that. They call it the Cinderella pumpkin. That's what we call it, and we call it both, but most people know it by the Cinderella pumpkin. I would say it's going to be on a sweetness scale of 1 to 10, 1 being bland, 10 being a sugar cube, right? So like 1 being water, 10 being a sugar cube. I would put the fairy tale pumpkin at around a 4. Okay. I'd put a sugar like a pie pumpkin, like a little itty bitty pie pumpkin. I'd put a pie pumpkin at around a 5. So not quite, they're right in the middle. I would put the acorn squash at about a 6. I'd put the Gills Golden Pippin all day at a 7 or an 8. All day long at a 7 or an 8. And I'd take that one to the grave. Like I'd be so confident. I've never not grown it and had it been like a 6 or a 5 on the sweetness scale. Again, 0 being water, 10 being a sugar cube. So, but also, let's not ignore the robust flavor, right? So on like a strictly like depth chart, right? 0 being no depth and 10 being like knock your socks off and your all the clothes you're wearing off, right? Like that's how much it knocks your socks off. I would say any pumpkin is going to be at like a 3 or a 4 on depth, but any squash is going to have a lot more depth, a lot more concentrated flavor. I would put the I'd put the acorn squash at like maybe around a 5 for depth of like knock your socks off compared to water depth of like just body flavor. I would probably put the Gills Golden Pippin at like a 6 or a 7. So it's just remarkable. It's really remarkable, and I've never found someone that doesn't love it. The problem is, again, is just it's the confidence of going outside your comfort zone and saying, "I'm gonna try something." And that's what blows me away is that when people do try it, they're like, "Holy cow, this is absolutely amazing, and I'm glad you recommended me to try it." But it's like a snowball. It takes so long to get it to get it rolling. And so I'm hoping that you guys are gonna want to give it a shot. Um, how does it compare against butternut squash, Angie? So it's slightly sweeter than so butternut and butternut squash are going to be very comparable in sweetness. Depth wise, I would say has a slightly more kind of nutty. Uh, It's got a little more like I don't know how to describe it. I guess nutty would be a good kind of like almond, walnut, like a very walnut would be good. Actually, you know what? Yeah, that's how I'd classify it. It's very like a walnutty flavor, right? Whereas butternut has more of like kind of like a cantaloupe musk. Am I wrong to say that? Like, I mean, is that maybe a wrong classification? Butternut squash has a lot of depth, but it tends to be a little more musky than nutty, right? Wrong? I feel pretty confident in that assessment, but maybe you guys could give me a better assessment. I love squash, by the way. So yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's awesome. Yes, you can grow it in a container. It does vine. It's a vining squash. It's not compact. It's not compact by any stretch of the imagination, but it does grow very well in containers. So, oh, thank you, Paula. Don't forget to hit thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Paula. Hit the thumbs up. Let's get them thumbs up there. Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, squash is incredible. I love it. Hey, what up, Steph? How's it going? Steph actually works with us. So shout out to Steph. Steph packs orders, she packs seeds, she checks orders, and she's just an all around sweetheart. So hey Steph, how's it going? Um and so um yeah, so I think it's awesome. But I don't want to get hung up. I want to keep going. So let's see. Okay. Oh yes. Okay. What is it about melons? I'm talking like heirloom funky melons. They are so good. I'm going to give you one that if I ever am elected president, ever, and that's a big if, but if I am, I will make it a law that everyone must at least taste, unless, of course, you are deathly allergic, the Ha Ogen melon. Okay, I'll pull this one up. This is a crime against humanity that you guys don't try this one. Um, it is amazing. I'm gonna pull this one up here, and um, man, how did? Oh, there we go. Um, goodness, got a hard time. Sorry. There we go. All right, the Ha Ogen melon. This variety of melon is absolutely insane. So it's actually known as the national melon of Israel, um, because it means the anger, right? Culturally, in the Middle East in general, melons are of great cultural significance, and the reason why is um, they are a very abundant food source, and they always have been for thousands of years. Now, this melon, the Ha Ogen melon, should be an anchor, which is what it means, should be an anchor in everyone's garden. Everyone's garden. It literally tastes like a pear. Okay, you take like a Bartlett pear, but you take a hint of like cloves and allspice. Um, don't get too hung up on that because it's very light, but it has that kind of that spiciness, that like zestiness that is absolutely incredible. It also reminds me a tad bit of like someone squeezed a lime onto a pear, right? It's got a little bit of a not a tartness, but like a citrusiness. It's got a citrusy pear flavor, super creamy. If you don't like cantaloupe or muskmelon, I often think, I often think people, um, I often think people get uh, they get very worried about the melons being all like musky, right? I know lots of people that are like, I don't like cantaloupe because of that kind of musk, right? I don't like honeydew because of that musk. But there's a whole other breed of melons, tons of other melons that don't have any of that flavor, any of that characteristic. And the Ha Ogen is one of them. It is super, like I said, it's citrusy, it's bright flavor. It tastes like a pear, but it's so unbelievably creamy. We had one, my cousin actually grew one. And Jake, if you're watching, Jake and Megan, um, they grew one in their garden this year. And ours unfortunately did not do super well because it was very, very dry in the spring. And then we got dumped on. Just it rained nonstop, and unfortunately, our plants got flooded out. And they actually had an advantage because they got a late start, so they missed all the rain. They threw it in their garden, and they got about I want to say 4 or 6 of these beautiful melons. And they were not large. They're about 2.5, 3 pounds, good personal size melons. It just about made me cry. It brought tears to my eyes. That's how good it is. And like I said, it's got that spiciness, right? Not spicy as in like, that's hot, like cayenne pepper. It's like cloves, cardamom, nutmeg. It's got that kind of like that's about the best way I can describe it. But it also has that citrusy pear flavor. It's simply the best. If you don't try Ha Ogen, you're missing out. If you don't like kind of funky tasting melons, this is not funky tasting. It is absolutely sensational. So yeah, if you are considering getting any of these seeds, absolutely consider checking them out. Tonight is the last night you can get them 20% off. Tonight, excuse me, whoa, that came out of nowhere. Tonight's the last night that you can get them 20% off using the code MERRY20, MERRY20. You can also throw in some fertilizer and merch if you want. Fertilizer is 25% off using the code BRIGHT25, BRIGHT25. And if you are a sauerkraut kid like myself, you can get Emma Gardner merch. Select merch is 30% off using the code JOY30. So a ton of you guys have saved a ton of money, and that I'm stoked about because it gives us something to do, and you guys save money on your garden, which is great. So tonight's the last night you can save 20% on your seeds. So if any of these interest you, consider checking them out tonight. So the Ha Ogen is another one here that I love. I want to share with you another one. Let's see. Okay. Yes. The Perrin sprayless tomato. Okay. We have 140 something varieties of tomato. Okay. So I want to touch on this one. You guys always, and I won't touch very long on this one. We'll kind of jump through some of these really fast here, but the Perrin sprayless tomato. You guys ask me, Luke, I want a tomato that's disease resistant. I want a tomato that I don't have to like baby and nurture and coddle. I really just want to kind of throw the plants in the ground and let them go. Well, then Perrin sprayless is going to be for you. This variety of tomato is probably the most carefree tomato that you can possibly get your hands on. Now, this is as iconic of a slicing tomato as you can possibly get. It is and has been for several decades the kind of the they call it a field tomato. Okay, don't let that name deter you, but the term field tomato basically just means that you can just grow it on the ground. It'll grow in a bush. It's a semi-determinate. And these tomatoes are going to ripen throughout the season, but it's not going to be a very tall plant. And literally, you just throw these plants in the ground. Let them bush all over the place. Let them crawl on the ground. And you can stake them if you want. But these tomatoes are crack resistant. They are drought tolerant. They are blight resistant. They are fusarium wilt resistant. They are like nobody knows about them. Nobody knows about them. And it's like, holy cow, these are like if you're a market gardener, you probably have heard about the Perrin sprayless because it's a set it and forget it tomato. It's so hardy. Now, I will say, with all things, there are trade-offs. The good thing with this is that it's unbelievably disease resistant. The bad thing is that it's not quite as flavorful as I wish it was. But again, if I'm growing a tomato for strictly the productivity, the disease resistance, and that's all I'm looking for, this tomato is a winner 10 times out of 10. So it's a must grow if you're looking for a disease resistant variety of tomato. That's awesome. Heidi's Home says, I purchased almost all of your tomato varieties. You better have a dang big garden. Holy smokes. That is crazy. That is awesome. Let's see. Oh yeah, rose apple. Rose apple is awesome, Evelyn. And let's see here. This was my first growing season. Sorry, this year was my first growing season, and really enjoyed Old German. That's awesome, Idmar. I'm really happy you had a good year. I love Old German too. You can't go wrong with that. Um, wow. Let's see here. Okay, so man, we got. Why don't you why don't you make it a section of the website and call it Luke's Picks? All right. Well, part of the okay, Mary, it's an amazing idea, and I will think on that. I will certainly think on that. My downside is that I am a bit of a geek when it comes to varieties. I love just about everything, and I would find myself to be I'd find myself to be adding too many to that list, and you guys would be saying, "Well, how is Luke picking all of these?" There's a reason why I have them on the website, and it's not because they sell well, right? Like I'm not going to carry something that I don't love. I guess is what I'm trying to get at, right? Like if it's make a quick buck but hate what you're selling, or be passionate about it and hope that your passion is addicting and your passion uh, is something that inspires someone to want to try this variety, and you can sleep well at night and you have a lot of fun doing it. I will 100 out of 100, 1000 out of 1000 times pick passion and excitement and make that contagious over just carrying something that's going to sell well. So my problem is with that is that I love all the varieties we carry for some reason or another, and that's why we carry them. So we'll maybe try to find a way to create something for you. That's a good idea, though. It's a good idea. All right, so I got 7 minutes. Told you guys it'd be an hour-long live stream. Uh, we're approaching that. So, so what I'm gonna do? Here's what I'll do. Because I yapped, I'm gonna turn my screen off. I'm simply going to I'm simply going to share the screen, and we're gonna fly through these varieties here because I think it's a crime that some of these varieties don't get the love that they do. Uh, Tim Gora, see the month. Hey, see the month sounds like a great idea. Actually, see the month is a good idea. That's a fantastic idea, and thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. That will go to the Creator Fund. So thank you so much. Anytime we need any software, materials, products, anything like that that we need for the garden, for the YouTube channel, that goes in there. So thank you so much for contributing to the Creator Fund. Um, so I'm gonna turn my screen off. We're gonna rapid fire through these, and then we'll close. But you guys have to stick around for these. Have to. They are awesome. You don't want these are like they're ones that blow me away. They blow me away. So I'll shut up here. I'll shut up and All right. So, I apologize. I just realized. So, yeah, I'm an idiot. So what I what I meant to say is that I was going to. Could you guys hear me? Oh, like literally, you guys could not hear me. Yeah, I'm an absolute idiot. I didn't realize when I turned my camera off, it also shut the microphone off. So, yeah. All right. Well, um, anyways, uh, I will try to figure out. Can't believe that. Okay, better, better. This is what I should have done. Dang it, Keith. Keith, I saw your comment, and you're like, you literally mean you're gonna shut up? Yeah, I didn't know I was actually shutting up. Wow. You guys should have told me a long time ago. You guys take me way too literally sometimes. I was just talking away. I was talking away. I was talking away. And then I saw Keith's comment. He's like, Luke, what are you doing, man? What you doing? Were you just waving your mouse around like a goofball? Hmm. Boy, is it bedtime. Okay. So, all right, let me explain Honsai Tai real quick. Honsai Tai is a mustard green, but it also tastes like spinach. It's very light. It's not very spicy. I'm gonna try to not talk too fast because I want to get through these varieties. But dang, I just blew 6 minutes being an idiot. So, yeah, you're gonna see beans, but I was talking about Honsai Tai before that. So Honsai Tai is it is a mustard green that also tastes like spinach. We use it in salads as well as stir fries, but we also use it in a soup called pho. And if you've ever had pho, it is absolute. It's amazing. It's like it's such a fresh, vibrant, bright soup. It is amazing. And so, because it's a very light mustard flavor, it doesn't get very spicy. And because it's also not a spinach, it can grow through a lot more adverse conditions than spinach can. So it's going to be in our 2024 garden this year, and that's all I said about that. Um, I cannot believe I muted myself. That is so dumb of me. My gosh. All right. Um, then after Bonsai Tai, I was talking with the Iroquois yellow bean. The Iroquois yellow bean was from the Iroquois tribe in North Dakota. It is a native variety of bean. It is a drying bean, so it's very similar to like a giant northern bean or like a navy bean. We will throw it in the Instapot, and we'll throw it in the Instapot for about 30-35 minutes on high pressure with some broth. There's recipes online. I'm not going to give you the recipes right now because I want to get through these varieties, but we throw them in with some broth, a few slices of onion, some salt, and we throw it on high, and it will make simply one of the best beans that you've ever had in your entire life. Black beans, great. Pinto beans, great. Iroquois yellow bean is so unbelievably buttery when you actually re reconstitute it. I don't know the exact term, right? But in a Instapot, it is absolutely sensational. If you don't have an Instapot, you can just put them on the stove and boil them, right? You can absolutely do that. It just takes a little while longer. These beans are an all-time favorite. So, my gosh, I cannot believe it said no sound, and I didn't see all that. Okay, so now I'm going to I'm going to shut my face up here so you guys can see these, and we're gonna fly through these here. So, my gosh, man, that is unbelievable. I did that. Talk about amateur hour. Okay, next one. Okay, earth tones dent corn. This variety of corn A lot of people say I don't like growing dent corns because they're not like a sweet corn, and that'd be correct. This variety of corn makes an absolutely sensational cornmeal. And in my opinion, it does make a slightly off colored cornmeal, but it's a slightly green. So if you've ever gone to the store and you've seen those multicolored corn tortilla chips, so many people think that they add food dye, and that's not the case. You can actually get corn that is red. You can get corn that is yellow. You can get corn that is blue hoppy. I'll show you guys them all. But when milled, it is so easy to mill. You just mill it in down into corn flour, and it is so unbelievably beautiful because it's one of the only corns that actually gives you almost near green corn tortilla. And so if you're looking for a really beautiful cornmeal, this variety will get you an absolutely stunning color of cornmeal that you're not going to get from your other colors. So, thank you. I appreciate it. We love you. Oh man, well, that is very very nice of you. I'm sorry that I sorry that I was on mute for so long. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys real quick. So we have the earth tone. We also have the blue hoppy. The blue hoppy is gonna give you a blue corn, right? Blue corn tortillas. It is absolutely amazing. Also, side note, is higher protein than any other corn variety. It's about 30% more high protein than any other variety, making this a very integral part to so many cultures around the world because it is a protein rich corn. Very, very important. So you get the blue, and then you get oops, it's the what is this double red. So this is a sweet corn variety, double red. It is currently sold out, but when it gets back in stock, this variety can make you the red corn tortilla chips you see in the store. So you're gonna have red, you can have blue, you can have green, lots of different varieties of corn. Dent corn is awesome for making cornmeal and corn flour. So do not sleep on your dent corns, you guys. They are awesome, and because they are so versatile, you can dry them and use them way longer than you can sweet corn. Sweet corn has a window of usage of only about 2 or 3 weeks before it gets really starchy. Whereas your dent corns, because you're drying them to completion, they're way more versatile. All right. Next one. Okay, Pompeii onion. Okay. The Pompeii onion is, in my personal opinion, one of the sweeter varieties of pearl onions. Now, pearl onion, for those of you that don't know, a pearl onion is an onion that is going to be of small size, and typically these are not going to be as sensitive to daylight periods. So if you're in a long day zone, a short day zone for your onions, these varieties of pearl onions are going to be way more. They're going to be um, way more. Way less sensitive is the term I was looking for, right? So they're not going to be as affected by those daylight periods. This is probably one of the sweeter pearl onions you're going to find, and we actually will char them up. And in Mexico, they call them cebollas, and basically it's like a grilled onion, cebollitas, and these are absolutely amazing. You don't have to grill them up whole, but that's how we eat them. You can also pickle them, like those little pickled pearl onions. You've probably seen them pickled onions, lacto fermented onions. They're I know you guys are thinking, "Ooh, amazing, so good, so unbelievably good." Boston Rock 76. What is the seed code? The seed code is Mary 20. I'll post it here for everyone. Seed code is Mary 20. Mary 20. All right, there you go. So Mary 20 will save you 20% off seeds until midnight. So yes, make sure you do that. Make sure you do that if you want to get some seeds. Yes. All right. Okay, next variety here. I gotta keep flying, you guys. I gotta keep flying. There's so many that just do not get enough love. All right. Um, ah, okay. Rosita eggplant. Okay. Um, so the Rosita eggplant. If you've ever grown the if you've ever grown the Rosa Bianca eggplant, hydrate before you dehydrate. The Rosa Bianca eggplant is a bicolored eggplant. It is kind of part white, mottled white pink, and this variety is actually a Puerto Rican variety. Okay, the Puerto Ricans did something real right with this variety because it is a very thin-skinned eggplant. One of the things that I despise about eggplants personally is when you cook an eggplant. If you guys know what I'm talking about, let me know. The skin on an eggplant when you grill it or you cut it into a ring becomes like a sausage casing. How many of you, raise your hand, have choked on a eggplant skin? My goodness, that sucker becomes like an elastic string band that doesn't want to break and just doesn't. It's so insane, and you have to know what I'm talking about. You have to. I love eggplant. It's amazing. It's so delicious. But the Rosita eggplant does not get enough love, and it has a thin skin. Thin skin, meaning it will not choke the living crap out of you when you cook it and you go to eat it. And so, definitely, yes, yes, wave your hand. A lot of people say they usually remove it. The thing is, when you remove it, a lot of times it has a tendency to kind of fall apart on you. So I do not remove the skin from the eggplants, and the eggplant skin has so many phytonutrients. It's so good for you, so delicious. But um, yeah, you definitely want to. You definitely want to try this variety. It is amazing, and the seeds are smaller, less seeds, less seeds. I'm in British Columbia, Canada. Can I still order seeds with a 20% off? It's 7 p.m. Monday night. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have until midnight for sure. Absolutely. You got a long time. You got a long time. So yes, it's 3 a.m. Eastern time, 12 p.m. Pacific time. So you've got lots of time, lots and lots of time to place an order. Don't rush, don't freak out. You got time. Um, so yeah, we're not in any rush to deactivate the code. We want to make sure that anyone that wants to get those savings can get that. But when that code is done, it's a hard line in the sand. After 3:01 Eastern Standard Time, right? We want to make sure that everyone has until technically Tuesday. At that point, we're not honoring the code anymore. So if someone writes in at 3:01 and is like, "Man, I'm sorry, unfortunately, I got to draw the line somewhere," because this code, like I said, this sale got me in a little bit of hot water. Okay, it was a little too good of a sale, and and you guys definitely took advantage of it, which is great, and a lot of you are taking advantage of it. But we're not going to run a sale like this again, and that's why I have to be a bit stricter with the cutoff time. Sometimes we're like, oh, we'll give them a day of leniency or whatever. We've ran this sale since Friday. It's now Monday. There's been a long time to use the sale, and because of that, a lot of people have taken advantage of it, and we can't just keep kicking the can on the road. So, Yes, so you absolutely can. Um, keep growing. I thought this size was kid size only. No, sauerkraut kids. You can be a kid at any age. I'm a kid. You're a kid. We're all kids at heart, right? Age is just a number. It's all about your mentality. But I grew up as a sauerkraut kid. I love sauerkraut. It's great. Um, so all right, let's keep flying here, you guys. Let's keep flying here. All right. Oh yes. Yes, this one here. This one is on my list. Okay. Silvery fir tree tomato. Okay. Yes. Um, what's up? Oh, yeah, okay. So Cindy is shouting. Cindy's shouting from the peanut gallery. The peanut gallery wants me to talk about the advent calendar. So we are working on an My Gardener advent calendar. This is something that we have wanted to do for an exceptionally long time. You guys have all been begging us to make an advent calendar. And so the advent calendar is going to be launching here in the next peanut gallery. Would you like to give me a time? Day? Soon? Anything? Because I don't know. You're the one in charge of that. I'm simply the one measuring out the string. Oh, so hopefully by the end of the week. Hopefully by the end of the week we'll be launching it, if not sooner. So stay. So it is a yeah. I'll tell them that too. It's a 12-day advent calendar, and so the it is seeds that we do not have. Not all of them are going to be in the store. A few are in the store, but many are not. It's a 12-day advent calendar. 12-day. So it counts down from the 12 days of Christmas, not like 25 or 30 or whatever it is. So yeah, yeah, 25 days. I don't know how long Advent is. I think it's 25 days. But well, I don't know. I don't know everything for crying out loud. You can't expect me to know everything. I didn't know if it was all of December or whatever. Whatever. Okay, 25 days. So it's a 12-day advent calendar and it's going to be awesome. I am super excited about it. I've seen it. It looks spectacular. Cindy, as well as Carrie, Katie, uh, anyone else that's worked. I don't want to forget people that have worked on it, but Cindy definitely has been a huge. She curated basically the whole look of it, and it looks sharp. It looks awesome. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be super cool. You guys are not going to want to miss that. It's 100% handmade. Why don't you just come in here and talk about it then? Kidding. I'm kidding. I'm joking. It's fine. I'm kidding. Cindy does not look proper or according to her. I think she always looks proper, but at 10:15, not many people look proper. Um, so most people are like in their pajamas ready for bed, like Cindy is, because she's a reasonable human being. I am usually up till midnight, but it's because I'm crazy. So, all right. Silvery focus, Luke. Silvery fir tree tomato. The silvery fir tree tomato is a determinate tomato. It is highly productive. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. This gets a lot of gets a lot of seasonal attention because of the fact that it's like silvery fir tree Christmas time type stuff. This variety, because the leaves are so small and so spindly, makes it a prime candidate for someone who's looking for a variety that is going to last longer into the season without getting things like blight. Reason why, if you've already started to create those thoughts in your head, this variety must be a really good blight resistant variety because there's less foliage. Less foliage means less chances for blight. This variety is consistently one of the more blight resistant varieties of tomatoes that exist. It is absolutely incredible. You should certainly try it. And it's a large slicer. Usually will get roughly about 8 to 10 ounces in size. So it is absolutely sensational. You should totally try it. It also has kind of a silvery color to it because it has some very fine hairs on the leaves, and that gives it that silvery fir tree look. So if you have not considered growing this variety, you've never heard of it before, give it a shot. It is absolutely amazing. You will totally love it. All right. Next, we're gonna do like two more here. We're gonna do like two more. So, what's up? You're still on the computer charger? Still on my stuff. Wow, bro. Wow. Unbelievable. Want to chop liver? Okay. Next one. This is for anyone growing in a container. And it's the Mountain Princess tomato. So this is a determinant. It is super compact. Have you guys ever heard of the Patio Princess? Let me know. Yeah, Cindy's nothing but a thief. Thank you, you guys. This is what I have to put up with. A thief in my own house. Come and steal my computer charger. She steals the lifeblood of my live stream. The clock is ticking because my computer is old and now my computer is dying because priorities. Someone in the house needs to watch Netflix. So, I'm kidding. I love Cindy so much. I love Cindy with all my heart. Sometimes you guys don't understand how Cindy and I operate. We joke, we throw little verbal jabs. We love each other a lot. So, have you guys ever heard of the Patio Princess tomato? The Patio Princess tomato was a hybrid for a very, very, very long time. And it still is actually quite popular. It's also known as just patio tomato. Patio, you guys, anyone? You guys need to get out more. You guys need to get out more. Patio tomato. The patio tomato is a very compact hybrid tomato, but the Mountain Princess was the original variety. It actually was the one that was it was bred into the Patio Princess as well as the patio, and then crazy for those plant nerds out there, that also led into the the big beef, the better beef, which was bred with a better boy. There's so many that fall into this lineage, but it is basically a large bush style patio tomato. That's the whole point. It's not a dwarf tomato. It's not a dwarf. This tomato the plant will get about 1.5 to 2 feet tall. So it's a full on bush tomato. It will produce about 3 to 4 ounce slicing tomatoes, and it is exceptional at its job. It ripens all at the same time. You're going to get everything all at once. It is a compact producer, and I cannot recommend it enough. But so many people are like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to get with this variety. You're going to get something you freaking love. If you want a patio tomato, this is the one to go with. Like all day, every day. It's the one to go with. It tastes great. It tastes very classic tomato flavor. It's got that great acidity. So you got it's a very versatile slicing tomato, good on salads, sandwiches, burgers. You could also juice it. You can turn it into sauce and paste as well. So super versatile. But it is a patio style tomato. It's a container tomato. It will excel in anything above a 5-gallon container, 10-gallon container. It's going to thrive. So throw it in there. You're going to thank me. especially if you're on like a patio garden or a windowsill herb garden or like a windowsill garden or a fire escape garden, anything on really limited space. That's the one. That's the one. Yeah, Christopher, it is perfect for container gardening. This is perfect for container gardening, and you will regret not trying it. Everyone that grows in containers, the thing we get asked all the time, Luke, I'd like to grow in containers. What varieties are good? And it's like, I can throw out 100 examples, but people want to they want to try all of the hybrids and the things that little Bonnie plants. If you want to start from seed and you want an amazing producer that's going to do amazing in containers, this is the one. Don't be caught without trying this one. Also, because it's an heirloom, you can grow them and save your own seeds. And I hate to say it, but we never have to see you again for this variety. Save it and be a seed saver. They're so easy to save seeds from. It is considered an early tomato. It's going to be right around 75, 80 days. So it's not like a late season, but it's certainly not like a early season. It's not going to be like 60, 65 days because it's a larger slicing tomato. So let's see. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Mizuna Red Streaks mustard. This one is a must. If you grow salad greens, this one is a must. We grow it for an awesome frilly texture. It reminds me very similarly of an endive. If you had endive, but endive can have a tendency to get bitter. This does not. Mizuna Red Streaks mustard is often used as like garnishes on plates at fancy restaurants, and people often don't eat it. They just eat the steak on the plate and leave the garnish. Try it. It's so good. You'll thank me later. We grow this every single year. It has been in our garden for probably the past 10 years consecutively. We've never not grown it. It is so beautiful, so incredible, and it deserves to be in every single garden. It is great. And when thrown into a spring mix, it adds that beautiful kind of frilly, fluffy texture, and it gives a great peppery punch to your salads that you absolutely have to try. It just doesn't get enough love. None of the mustard greens, okay, let's be real. None of the mustard greens get any love. And if you're sitting here saying, yeah, I agree, probably doesn't get much love, you're probably part of the problem. You're probably part of the problem because you're probably someone that's never considered trying mustard greens because you're like, ooh, I don't want a spicy green. It's only spicy if you let it get really mature and it gets super hot. Mustard greens don't get any love from the gardening community. And I think they just get a bad rep as being really ridiculously spicy. They are so good, you guys, so good. And like I said, all the mustard greens, whether it's the Mizuna, whether it's the wasabi mustard, whether it's the Tokyo Bacana, whether it's the Mabuna, whether it's the go on and on and on, we throw all of them in our garden at different phases, whether it's spring garden, whether it's a fall garden, or even whether it's a winter garden. And they are so good. They're so good in every type of salad you can imagine. So do not be caught dead not growing this variety. It's so good. Try your mustard greens. Give them a chance. I beg you to try them. They just don't get enough love. This one, okay. Pablo lettuce. It's a new one we just started carrying. This one right here, we started carrying because you guys always love your butter crunch, you love your iceberg, you love your fill in the blank, you like your crisp head lettuces. This is one of the only true heirloom bicolored lettuces. It is a variant. Sorry, one second. It is a variant of the Great Lakes crisp head lettuce that was crossed with the Rouge de Hever lettuce. Now, the Rouge de Hever, I'll show you what I'm talking about. if I could spell. Okay, you know what? Where you at here? We have it. I just don't know how it. Yeah, it's gonna come up somewhere here. Come on, Rouge de Heber. Where you at? Um. Well, I can just go to seeds here. I gotta show you this one. 1 second here. Um. So, because a lot of people like the backstory of how variety comes into existence, right? So the Rouge de Heber is going to be what gives. Maybe. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. Super sorry. So the Rouge de Heber, it was bred with the Rouge de Heber. The Rouge de Heber actually, I forgot to tell you this. Rouge de Heber had a crop failure. It happens from time to time. Um, our farmer that was growing the Rouge de Heber, he actually he lived up in Washington State, and if you were familiar with Washington State, they got record amounts of rain, like absolute absurd amounts of rain, and that rain actually it flooded out his field. So he told me I talked to him not too long ago, about a week or two ago, and he's got some Rouge de Heber in the hothouse, but we pulled it down from the website because he's the only one that grows it for us, and we don't know how long it'll be before we can get some more, or we don't want to hype people up because obviously we don't want to, we may not, we don't have any other people growing that variety. So I apologize. That is 10:30 brain. Yes, crop failure because of flooding, and that's the nature of growing crops. So the Rouge de Heber hopefully will be back in 2024. He's awesome. He's a great grower. He loves growing for us, and so yes. So yeah, that's why that one's not on the website currently. The the Pablo, okay, the Pablo lettuce. Okay. The Pablo is a crisp head style lettuce with it's a bicolor, and it is so unbelievably good. We have grown this variety 3 years. We actually let it get to full size last year in our greenhouse, and it is absolutely amazing. The flavor is what you get from a crisp head. It's crunchy, it's water rich, it's just so refreshing, but it has all of those antioxidants that comes with your purple and your red greens. So your anthocyanins, right? Your anthocyanins are they're antioxidants that are so good for you to get in your diet, and so it's 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 beautiful beyond words. Honestly, I think one of the prettier lettuce varieties, in my personal opinion, that exists. Um, how long does it take to get to full size? So it will take about at like full crisp head size about 55 days, 55 to 60 days. So it's a little bit longer of a grow. You don't have to let it grow that long though. You can just harvest it for leaf lettuce and get those benefits of all that beautiful color and texture when it's younger, but um, but at full maturity, yeah. North Star Prep Stetter. By the way, thank you so much. North Star Prep Stetter has been a long time admin on our live streams. They are awesome, really sweet people. Absolutely love them to bits. So thank you guys for showing up for our live stream. And how does Pablo do with bugs? So we've never really grown it in a very like a very buggy environment. Like I said, we grew it in our greenhouse in smart pots in our fabric grow containers, And we also grew it as baby greens in our raised beds. Both scenarios don't get very buggy for us, so I don't really know how it would get, but I would say it probably does about the same as any other lettuce does. Like if a slug was in the garden, it's pretty indiscriminate, is what I'd say. You're probably just about the same as any other lettuce variety. But let's go here. Let's do another one. I apologize, you guys. I had a list that I was hoping to get through. We may not get through them. We might have to make this a part two. But let's go here. So, all right. Well, here. So this one, another one. Babuna mustard, absolutely sensational mustard green. Super small, narrow leaves. It is, as the description, if you guys read the description, it's one of the most underappreciated mustard varieties for whatever reason. I have no idea. This this is a peppery, spicy. If you let it get spicy, really good green, really really good. It is probably one of the more cold tolerant mustard green varieties that we've grown. So if you grow in a fall to winter transition garden, this one is awesome. You will not regret growing this mustard green. There's also the Stowell Evergreen. Okay, Stowell Evergreen. This corn variety is so old, you guys. So it was introduced in about 1850 or so, mid 18, about mid 1800s. Some records show 1853. Others will show 1830. By most accounts, this variety is one of the first sweet corn varieties. It is so there is other varieties of corn that is sweet. This is what you come to know as a sweet corn variety. This is the very first strain of sweet corn that has what is considered linear rows. Linear rows being the kernels being all aligned. Um, before before it was very random. It was all over the place. And as the traits of corn started to be selected, this variety actually led to, if you love the Silver Queen, right? Silver Queen or Golden Bantam, those sweet corn varieties are loved by millions. They all came from the Stowell Evergreen corn. Now, this corn variety is a sweet corn, but I want to tell you, I grow this variety when I've grown it in the past. I've grown it for the simple sake that I want to be growing the oldest, most heritage variety of sweet corn. Modern seed saving and crossbreeding and stuff like that has given us far sweeter, far crunchier, far less starchy sweet corn varieties, right? If you're growing for a strictly flavor basis, this is not it. It's very sweet compared to like a flint corn, a dent corn, but it's not going to be like a peaches and cream or like a, uh, you know, like a sweet corn that you're probably thinking of. This is for the type of person that wants to grow a super old variety. Like I said, the very first recorded sweet corn variety that is probably in our book. We got our book from that was written in the 1800s. That this sweet corn variety is in that book, and that's because it is super super old, and it's been grown for hundreds of years for good reason. It just has such a heritage. It has a heritage, name behind it. So definitely give this one a shot for sure. Um, and with that, I need to get signing off here because I don't want to keep Miss Cindy up here. Cindy's going to be wanting to go to bed pretty soon. So I need to be quiet and respectful of the other people in our house. So I'm going to um, I'm gonna sign off here, you guys. But I want to thank you guys so much for your support, your love, your appreciation, and maybe we'll do a part two. Let me know. Do you guys want to see? Would you guys like to see a part two, going through some more underappreciated heirloom varieties? Let me know. If you're watching, you want to see a part two, let me know. I'd be happy to do that. Maybe we will fly through them a little faster. But there's a decent amount of them. There's a decent amount of what I think to be underappreciated varieties, and so yeah, so I'd love to do it. But I want to thank you guys for your time, for your support, your encouragement, your love, all of that. It's awesome. I really, really appreciate it. I want to remind you guys that you have until midnight tonight, to get seeds at 20% off using the code Mary20. Fertilizer 25% off with the code Bright25, Bright Bright, like a bright light, Bright25. And any merch 30% off, select merch 30% off with the code Joy30. That goes until midnight tonight, Pacific Standard Time, 3 a.m. Eastern Time. We want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to save as much money as possible, and we appreciate that. So, migardener.com is the place to go. If you have any questions, I'll be up for the next little bit, kind of answering some answering some messages, emails, and stuff, getting caught up with that. But with that, I'm going to sign off so that she can get to bed. But I want to thank you guys, love you guys, appreciate you guys, and as always, this is Luke from the My Gardener channel, reminding you all to grow bigger. Take care, everyone.